our military participation and partnership over the years much deeper, and our enemy is the same. I mean, Hamas has Iran specifically since '79 has been an enemy of the United States. So this is completely different. Americans are threatened by Hamas here at home because of our open southern border. So we need to support Israel. We need to support this fight to destroy Hamas, and you can't equate it to what's happening in Ukraine.
Well, that was Republican Tennessee Congressman Mark Green explaining why President Biden's $105 billion aid plan that ties Israel, Ukraine, and the crisis on our southern border into one lump sum is a mistake. Republican Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson has seen the effects of the border crisis firsthand, and Mayor Johnson joins me now. Mayor, great to see you. Thanks for being here. Do you even know what President Biden wants to spend money on down at our southern border, because he hasn't been very successful at keeping it closed?
Well, first of all, David, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
No, it's not clear exactly what the president wants to do down here at the border, but I will say this. Keeping people safe has got to be the top priority of anyone in the position of leading this country, leading a state, and certainly leading a city. I'm a mayor, and I can tell you that, as a mayor, we are in the keeping people safe business. We are in the public safety business. And so with all that's going on in the world right now with terrorism and Hamas and other terrorist groups around the world, and what's happening at our southern border and its lack of security, we all need to be doing our job and doing our part to keep people safe. And as a mayor, that's why I actually recently formed the Republican Mayors Association, because I believe that we need more Republican mayors at the local level focusing on issues of public safety and prioritizing public safety. So there's a lot of challenges right now facing Americans, particularly Americans who live in our cities. 80% of Americans, in fact, live in a city. And so I do believe that add the border to the list of things that are currently challenging our security in this country.
Well, particularly if you live as close to it as folks in Dallas do. And of course, we see the spinoffs in places like New York, even far away from the border, where the situation is getting crisis. But in addition to these overall numbers, which are just incredible, 269,735 encounters, migrant encounters, just last month. That's the highest ever by far on record. And 169, that 169 number doesn't sound a lot, but those are the migrants that came in that were on the terror watch list, 2 of whom were from Iran just last week. So, I mean, this is vital to national security, correct?
Yes, it's obviously a national security concern. We've got to take seriously securing the southern border. We've got to take seriously what our friends in Israel are dealing with right now with Hamas. These things are absolutely critical to Americans' national security. But you know what? We also have an issue with keeping people safe just from street crime in this country. Right. I mean, I'm very concerned as a mayor of one of the top 10 cities in America with just how dangerous things have become in some of our cities from street level violent crime. So, we've got our hands full in this country, and I believe we need more law and order focused, public safety prioritizing mayors in our cities across this country. And I do believe we need a president of the United States that's going to really prioritize border security. And I believe that we need to stand with our allies in Israel right now, and we need to do everything we can to protect Americans.
Let me just talk briefly about the economy, because I'm sure that's another reason that you came over to the Republican side from the Democrat side. Family income, particularly among minorities in this country, has gone down. I mean, we all know what it's like to shop and so forth, but family income among minorities community, down 1.6% for black families, down 1.1% for Hispanic families. For all of the talk that you hear among the Democratic Party about being the best party for minorities in this country, it's worked exactly the opposite since President Biden came into power. Is that one reason you switched from Democrat to Republican?
It's one of the main reasons I switched from Democrat to Republican. Look, I was a Democrat for 30 years. I know better than just about anybody what's going on in that party at this point. And, it wasn't always this way. I think it's gotten worse in recent years, but there is a mentality that is maybe the dominant mentality, I'd say, in the party, the Democrat Party, and that is this idea that tax revenue belongs to the government and it's theirs, and we're just going to determine how much of a private citizen's money we're going to let them keep. It's a very backward way of looking at things. I have been fighting since I became mayor over 4 years ago against that mentality and trying to cut taxes. And we have successfully lowered the tax rate in Dallas every year I've been in office. But it's always been a fight. Every year it's a fight, and it's an ideological fight. And I've said very recently that what we cannot do is, on top of inflation and rising interest rates, add rising and increasing taxes on people right now. It's the last thing that people, particularly working class families, people of color. I mean, I've actually made this argument. In Dallas, it's actually people of color, Black and Hispanic voters in Dallas, who have been the most outspoken and are the most in favor of us cutting taxes.
Yeah, that's
They
interesting.
can't handle these property taxes on top of the double whammy of high inflation and high interest rates. They need the relief. So yes, that was a huge reason why I left the Democratic
I'm so sorry
Party.
to do this, but we're coming up to a hard break. We got to leave it at that. We could talk for another half hour at least. Good to see you. Thank you. Best of luck on this transition. I know those transitions are difficult. We appreciate you coming on. Mayor Johnson from Dallas.